Hey y'all, in this video I'm going to show you how I rhinestone this adorable pencil eraser from Beyond the Tumbler. I will link everything in the description box below. Here you're going to see me just dust off the black eraser part of it that can get on the top of it, and then I'm going to tape off with just some painter's tape all the way down the eraser. I'm doing this so I can use an X-Acto knife to be able to cut where I want the different sections of the pencil to be, like the eraser section, the little metal part of the section, the wood part, the lead, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to tape all the way down. And then you're going to see me here, I've got my X-Acto knife and I'm going in to make the little metal part of the eraser. I'm just drawing or just cutting with the X-Acto knife a section that may be 1/4 of an inch, centimeter thick, somewhere around there. It's personal preference. And then to do the little wood part, the little zigzag part, I get a piece of scrap paper and I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to cut 2 triangles side by side to be able to make the points for the pencil part, for the lead part, or the wood part, excuse me. And so I'm just using some scissors and this scrap piece of paper, and then I'm going to tape it down and then use it as like a template to be able to cut. So I'm just making sure it's all lined up and straight, and then I'm going to get a piece of painter's tape again and tape that down. Here I'm just going to make sure that it is centered before I tape it down and cut. And making sure it's also straight and that each of the 2 points appears to be equal distance from the sides. And then I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife. I really like this one. This one is actually from the Bowen. I got it when I got my Bling Queen, and I actually really like it. It's very sharp. So I'm just going to use that to cut along those 2 triangles that we cut, just being careful not to put too much pressure, enough to go through, but with this being as sharp as it is, it will cut the wood. And then I'm going to remove that piece of paper so I can use it again for the other ones that I have. And now I'm going to start painting. I'm using Pop of Color paints. For the pencil lead, I'm going to be using just black from Pop of Color. I'm going to paint a nice just 1 coat on it. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I really like about doing rhinestones on stuff. And I'm going to remove this part where we cut the zigzag and apply blush from Pop of Color. Again, I will link all of these in the description box below. And then I'm going to remove the part of the pencil where I'm going to paint it yellow. And I'm using bright yellow again from Pop of Color paints. And I'm just using the same paintbrush each time. I've just got a couple of wet wipes that I'm just cleaning it off. I don't need it to be, the paint to be perfect. I'm just trying to get a base coat down so it'll help the rhinestones look better. And then I'm going to remove the part that's going to be the little metal part. And this one I'm using charcoal from Pop of Color paints. And then I'm going to just take a wet wipe, and if I kind of got a little crazy with the paint, it will easily clean up. This Pop of Color paint is a chalk paint, and so it cleans up just with a wet wipe or with a paper towel and water. I love it. Here I'm just painting the eraser portion of it and showing that to you. So it is dry now, and it is time to rhinestone. And I'm going to be using 5 different colors, all from Diamond Fire Rhinestones, where you can, I will link those in the description below along with a coupon code for you. I'm using my Speedy Petey epoxy from DIY Epoxy Eraser to adhere so the rhinestones. I'm just going to squeeze out equal parts of part A and part B, just about, I don't know, I call them little perky boobs. I know that may be a little crazy for some, but you'll see here when I show it to you that they're just 2 little perky dots of epoxy, and then I'll just use a disposable lipstick applicator and mix it up really, really good. About a minute, I would say, making sure to scrape the sides and just making sure it's all incorporated. This is also how I mix up my Bob Smith 15-minute and 30-minute epoxy. So now I'm just going to use that same applicator, and I'm going to do this in sections. You could go ahead and apply it all over, but I'm a messy crafter and I will easily stick my hand in it. So I am just going to put a good coat on there, not too thick, not too thin. If it's too thin, you'll know because the rhinestones won't stick. You'll go to put it down and there's just not enough adhesive to grab it. But if it's too thick, if you push it down, then it's going to ooze up over the sides and then you have a little too much. So you'll find your balance, and I'm just going to go ahead, and here I'm using Jet Hematite mix from Diamond Fire Rhinestones. And I am just getting some, and I'm going to kind of outline the area and then fill it in. That's typically how I work when I'm doing stuff like this. And I just continue adding these rhinestones, making sure I am picking sizes that kind of fit really well next to each other. This is the scatter method, so it's pretty much just pick and place, but I do typically pick specific sizes to make sure that they fit well together. I can kind of just look and see if it needs to be an SS6, an SS10, an SS12, SS20, SS30, SS16, somewhere in there. So now we're done with that. So now I'm moving on to the champagne mix, and I'm just going to apply some more of our Speedy Petey to the section we painted in the blush, and then we will rhinestone that section. All right, we are done with that champagne, so now we're going to move on to the lemon drop mix. This is a really cute multicolor lemon themed mix. It's got a lot of yellows, whites, crystal. So as you can see, I did run out of adhesive. I did not mix enough up for the whole thing, which I wasn't quite sure what my work time would be for this. Typically it's pretty quick when I'm applying it to tumblers, but I wasn't sure with a project like this and only mixing up a little amount how long it would be workable. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply rhinestones to this section that I have applied the adhesive to, and then we will mix up more. All right, I'm finishing up that adhesive that I had on there, so I'm gonna mix up some more. This time I'm gonna try to mix up just a slightly little bit more because I feel like I still have a little over halfway to go. So I'm gonna mix that up the same way, making sure I'm scraping around the sides, and then I'm going to apply it all over the rest of the yellow section. Again, making sure it's not too thick and not too thin. You don't want it to puddle up, but you also want there to be enough that your rhinestones are going to stick, and so then I just continue to rhinestone this section. All right, I'm just making sure there's no spots that I can just squeeze in an SS6 in there. Sometimes I'll even grab a multi-pack of some of these colors that have SS3s and SS5s to try to fill in the spots, but this mix did a really good job with covering. And so now I'm going to apply that adhesive to the charcoal section, and I'm using CZ Gray for this section, and this is a small section, so it just goes by really quick. All right, I'm done with that section, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply some adhesive to the pink, and then I realized that I still don't have quite enough, so instead of trying to spread that out too thin and risk the rhinestones not having enough adhesive, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up a little more of our epoxy again, mixing equal parts together for about a minute. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab our next rhinestone color, which is the light rose, again from Diamond Fire Rhinestones, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go around the perimeter again of it and then fill in the middle. I do want to add that I do feel like my paint color is a little too dark here. I could not find the Peony Pink that I was going to use from Pop of Color Paint, so I went with this other color, which I will link below, but I do feel like it was a little too dark for the light rose rhinestones, but it still worked out in the end. And we are all done. Here is our pencil eraser, which turned out so cute, really quick. Took me less than an hour to paint, rhinestone, the whole 9 yards. I would let this sit for about an hour, and that is all. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.